Hey guys, today what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we can compare fractions that look similar, and they look similar because they have the same denominator. What that means is that it's out of the same amount. So before I even show you a little picture of what's going on, imagine that you have a whole bunch of pies and they're all cut into pieces. But if every pie is cut into like 4 pieces, it makes it really easy to see how much pie is missing if someone takes 1 piece or 2 pieces or 3 pieces, right? But if, like, let's say one pie is cut into 5 pieces and one pie is cut into 27 pieces, if someone takes a few of the pieces of the pie that's cut into 27, you're not totally sure if that's more or less than the pie that's cut into 4 that has 1 piece missing. It makes it a little bit hard to kind of visually instantly tell how much is left in that pie, in that fraction. So what we're going to look at today is what happens when you compare fractions that are all based out of the same number. They have the same, let's say, number of cuts in a pie or in a pizza or something, okay? So this is what I mean by this. So let's say each of these are like pies or pizzas or something, right? And so each of these circles, as you guys can see, is cut into 4 pieces. Now, the pieces, the amount of cuts, the amount of chunks, that is the number on the bottom of our fraction. That's the denominator. The number on the top represents either how many have been taken or how many's left. It tells us how much of that pie has had something happen to it, okay? And so when we compare fractions that have the same denominator, the same number on the bottom, that makes it generally pretty manageable for us to compare and say, oh, that one's bigger than that one, or that one's less than this one. So each of these fractions here is out of 4. Each of these circles is cut into 4 pieces. And so in this one, it's saying that there's 1 out of 4. And for the sake of this little video, we're going to say that that's 1 out of 4 that's left. Maybe somebody came along and ate the other 3 pieces. So I'm going to cut out, there's 1 out of 4 that is left. So as you guys can see, my fraction says you're going to color in 1 out of the 4. And that's what I did. I colored in 1 out of the 4. This one over here, it's telling me to color in 2 out of the 4. So I'm going to color in, I'm going to go blah, 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 blah. I've now colored in 2 out of the 4. This is very exciting. Guess what's going to happen with 3? I'm going to color in 3 pieces because it's telling me to color in 3 pieces. Now, these pieces of pies are not like perfectly drawn, but we're going to do the best that we can, okay? So I've shaded in 3 pieces of this pie. This last one is telling me you're going to color in 4 out of 4. So here we go. Best drawing you've ever seen in your whole lives. This is a Bob Ross right here. All right, so when we have fractions like this, it makes it easy for us to compare, because if all the denominators are the same, then it means that we only have to look at the top. If you're comparing fractions with different denominators, then you actually have to do some mathematical magic to make them all where the bottom is the same in order to make it easy to compare. You don't have to make them the same to compare them, but it's much easier if you do. So, as you guys can see, I've shaded in 1 out of 4 here. So I've got the smallest numbers on the top up here. And over here, I've shaded in 4 pieces. And the biggest numbers on the top over here. So as you guys can see, the bigger the number on the top, the more value there is out of the fraction, right? Like, it's worth more. So when I have all of my numbers, and I could even, like, I could have 1 out of 4 here, then I could have 4 out of 4, then I could have 3 out of 4 and 2 out of 4. It wouldn't matter. What my goal is to try and compare what is bigger, 1 out of 4 or 2 out of 4. And so my little thing is you might want to just color it in first, so that like even if the number's 5, take a circle, cut it into 5 pieces, or like take a rectangle and cut it into 5 little chunks, or just simply draw 5 equal sized squares, and then you don't have to worry about dividing. And then you're going to color in the amount that the fraction's telling you to. So in this one, we can see that it says 1 out of 4. I'm coloring in 1 little bit here. And this is 2 out of 4, and I'm coloring in 2 bits. You can see that there's more colored in here in the 2 out of 4 than there is with the 1 out of 4. So as long as the bottoms are the same, if the number on the top is bigger, then it's going to be worth more. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let me just show you one other little example. Over here, I've got it cut into thirds just to try and show you. This is like this is Expo marker. They make it really hard to get the cap off. So divided into thirds, it's the same sort of thing. I've still aligned it like 1, 2, and 3, but watch this. So 1 out of 3, I'm going to color in 1/3. Okay, because it tells me the 3 means it's divided into 3. So I've cut my circle into 3. And again, actually, I didn't say this originally, but with a fraction, it has to be 3 equal parts. Like you can't have a circle and then be like 1, 2, 3, and you can't have like 3 sections like that. That big no. They always have to be equal parts, okay? So the number on the top says 1, so I'm going to color in 1. The number on the top up here says 2, so I'm going to color in 2. 1 and 2. All right. The one on the right-hand side says 3, so I'm going to color in all 3 because it's telling me, it says color in 3 out of 3. Now, you don't actually have to color it in, but I like doing that because I find math really hard and I like to be able to see my math in a way that is not a number. So when we see this one says 1 out of 3, I've colored in 1 out of 3. This one says 2 out of 3, I've colored in 2 out of 3. This one says 3 out of 3, I've colored in 3 out of 3. And as long as my bottom numbers are all the same, I've got 3, 3, 3, then I'm simply going to look at the top number, and the bigger the number is on the top, the more it's worth. And I've been able to prove that with my coloring because I've been able to see that if I color in 1 out of 3, I'm not coloring in as much as if I color in 3 out of 3. So when we compare numbers with the same denominator, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for the fraction with the most amount of worth. So I would say do some coloring, do some shading in, and then you'll be able to see which fraction is worth more. So, and again, it doesn't matter if I line it up like 1 out of 3, then 3 out of 3, and then 2 out of 3. It doesn't matter. But at the end, I should be able to say, oh, that one is worth more than that one, simply by the look of the coloring in, or because I know that 3 is a bigger number than 1, right? So good luck.